This college football picks edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Bet Rivers. Claim your risk-free bet up to $500 over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betrivers. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betrivers. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Game Time tickets make the perfect holiday gift. Download the Game Time app today and use promo code SGPN for $20 off your first purchase.
This is Mike Leach, head football coach at Mississippi State, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Cox.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, second the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Hell of a Wednesday, Sean.
Hell of a Wednesday. We're here with Colby Dant, aka the Dantabase, talking college football. What's happening, Colby?
It's a great day. Great day to be alive. As Kramer knocks over water in his computer. I'm holding paper towels like I'm President Trump in fucking Puerto Rico, and
Oh, we got a fan. The fans making
It's a deep paper towel reference.
fan making.
can I throw it out there?
show.
Like,
Yeah, he's like,
can I throw it out there?
some-
Like,
You get some towels. You get some towels. Yeah. So we were right about to start the show,
Feel that cool breeze.
oh, that
going?
is nice, man.
and then Kramer knocks over a giant jug of water
Fortunately, had a lid
all
on
over
it.
his laptop. We used to stream everything.
Literally the super computer that powers this whole fucking operation.
Yes, that would have been bad. And then Colby gets some paper towels. Somehow in the process, knocks over Saquon Barkley pop-up head.
yeah,
Our pets' heads are falling off. What the hell's going on?
It really revealed a lot of most of the calamity that can happen in here is me spilling something, Colby knocking something over. We call him a little pet name in here is we call Colby the elephant or
Stampy. We need to start calling him Stampy.
Or
Have you ever seen
rhinoceros.
the Simpsons episode where Bart gets an elephant and he names him Stampy?
see what they don't want you to know, folks, is I'm in the corner here, so I don't have much room to wiggle here.
It's a tight.
You know what
it's
I mean?
a tight setup.
They're
It's a
over
tight
there in their
setup.
spacious seats. You know what I mean?
Well, we did. I mean, we did build the
When
shuttle.
we designed
for
the
two.
studio, it's basically one aisle in, one aisle out. So it's kind of a tight situation.
And yeah, I would say the number one thing we hear from people is, "Oh, this room's a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be."
Well, that's classic TV, right? It always looks way bigger on TV, and we are on TV, aka YouTube, youtube.com/sportsgamblingpodcast. Turn on those notifications, turn those bells on, because you never know when we're gonna hop on the stream, get the show fired up. We are taping this live Wednesday afternoon on the West Coast. Of course, Kramer and I will be back. NFL picks, 8:30, 9 o'clock ish Pacific.
And what's this ish?
Well, I'm going to my wife's holiday
I
party,
saw
so
that.
it depends how
Ooh.
drunk I get at the holiday party.
When I saw
Free
that, I'm like,
cocktails?
oh.
What are we doing
I
here? What are we
assume
talking?
so.
Where's this at?
I'm not paying for anything. It's in Hollywood at the Roosevelt.
Oh,
That
spent a lot of time there.
Are you?
That's
are
where
you
the Casey
serious?
Affleck story happened.
This
What do
is
you
one of those situations where you're not managing anyone's expectations well.
How so?
You're going to the Roosevelt. What
Yeah.
time does it start?
Yeah, this show's not happening. No, go ahead and say
7 o'clock.
show's not happening.
Okay, so you're going to a holiday party at the Roosevelt in Hollywood.
for like an hour, and then I'll be over here.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just the opportunity to get fucked up on someone else's dime at a situation that's gonna probably feel like you should get fucked up. I feel like an hour is not managing your anyone's expectations.
Is it
How so?
is it Tropicana or upstairs at Teddy's?
I don't know. That I don't know.
Oh, I'd
Okay.
imagine it's upstairs, right? If
You been
it's
to
an
Teddy's?
event.
You been to Teddy's?
I used to work across the street from the Roosevelt, so we
Yeah.
would go in early before they had any rules.
yeah.
Saw a lot of cool
Yeah.
shit there.
Yeah.
Pool activities.
Well, I might have signed some autographs as well. They thought I was Casey Affleck. Might have had a few cocktails, signed the autographs as Colby Dant, but you know that's a story
who the
for.
hell's Colby Dant?
We can save that for the Discord.
Listen, get to the chat.
The Patreon. I mean,
for tonight's show, get to the chat a little early. Real Money Kramer will be there. We'll have a little wager. We can see if
let's
if
set
the
the
show
odds.
starts on time. What do you think, Colby?
I gave you a heads up.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little late.
Slightly delayed.
Gonna be a little late.
Colby.
9 o'clock would
I've
be the
had
worst
those
case
cocktails.
scenario.
Gonna have a
Colby,
couple mint juleps.
Colby,
Yeah.
what do you think? Holiday party on a Wednesday at the Roosevelt. Day of notification. It just pop up on the calendar. That you knew this show's been delayed for a month, maybe more.
Roosevelt does have that vibe, like in The Shining.
Oh,
You know
act
what I
like
mean?
it's my holiday party. My wife just reminded me the other day.
Oh, okay. This morning.
No,
okay.
yesterday. You're in for the holiday party, right? And I'd completely forgotten about it.
But yeah,
She claims that it was on the calendar and that she had been talking to me a bunch about it.
love how the women always say it's on the calendar.
This is the perfect situation because I can go there. I get credited with attending her company's holiday party, and then I have an easy exit. Hey guys, sorry, got to do the show, and I can leave. It's the perfect scenario.
Huh?
So you taking over or under, Colby?
On being on time,
start time early, on time, or delayed?
delayed, and let's set the cocktails.
Oh,
7.5
Yeah.
is what. Is what? Well, you don't want to get her fired, so you can't have more than 7.5.
You know
but
what,
sometimes
you guys act like
that's sneaky.
I'm at a holiday party where I don't know anyone.
That's
You have like 1 or 2 drinks and leave. It's perfect.
I don't know. I've been spent some time at the Roosevelt, buddy.
I hate talking to strangers, but those are the situations you end up with.
Wait, Colby and I have to push back.
Yeah.
You love talking to strangers. You
One of
say
the,
you
one
hate
of the biggest
it.
lies. One of the biggest lies out there. is
Ryan turns into like
fucking chatty Cathy over here.
Yes,
Yeah.
he turns into like a soccer mom at a game.
It's called networking, guys.
Yeah, he just chews everyone's ears off about it.
Sorry if I'm passionate about SGPN.
I like you taking. I mean, you're John Stockton, just managing the conversation, pushing the ball back and forth. I appreciate it, but you claim you don't like talking to people when you love it.
I'd say me and Sean are a little less social than you. Like you next thing you know, you're talking
Social
about
butterfly.
Yeah,
in certain situations.
I would admit this. I think maybe the conversation's starting not fun, but once it started,
once the ball's rolling,
it's like a lawnmower.
Yeah.
You know?
He'll take a conversation about the Rose Bowl all the way to like, I got property in Florida. You know what I mean? Like, I'm from Jersey. Let me tell you about the Italians.
If there's something you gotta remind people where you sit. You know, hey, watch your fucking tongue. I may be connected here. All right, I got Uncle Money. I got Cousin Mush.
Boss Damo in the chat saying cash that money line dog K-State. I think that was Kramer was on K-State. Although I got a lot of thank yous for my K-State pick, even though I was on Villanova. But
all white people look the same. So we get credit for each other's picks all the time.
Bitcoin only fan saying finally you're back on Twitch, reaching out to us Zoomers.
Ooh,
but they're boomers.
In fairness, Zoomers are like the next.
In fairness, we're always on Twitch, but yeah, we probably should update our Twitch profile. It's probably a good idea. I know there's still young people over there watching video game shit.
Boss Damo with a sharp handicap of 3.5 cocktails. I think that's a number you can get action both sides on.
You know what, Colby? I think tonight.
Yeah.
I'll have a cocktail poured for myself and Sean on the show. I'll have a rare cocktail on air.
Oh
tonight.
wow! Stay tuned.
In celebration of Sean being a little sauced and late for the show.
Yes, definitely going to be late.
It's going to be a good show. That means it's going to be a great.
You going
show.
to bowl a few frames? You know they got that bowling alley upstairs.
I think it's. I think that's where it is. Wherever that place is that has.
Yeah, that's Teddy's. That's Teddy's.
okay.
Yeah,
So
after Ted Demi, the old director,
Colby was about to get to it, but there is a certain power of the Roosevelt.
Yes,
Hard
it's
to
like
leave.
The Shining. It's like
hard
The Shining.
It's hard
I
to
can see him in one of those photographs from like 1912.
Sean, it's lit in a way where you immediately are like, I'm feeling good here.
Yeah,
You guys, I've been to the Roosevelt. This is not my first
For a holiday
rodeo.
party though.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you, one of the times I was at the Roosevelt,
Insane.
I happened to walk into an artist to a party that Prince, the artist Prince, was throwing.
Oh wow.
And you can imagine.
You feel
you can
this
imagine.
flex?
You can imagine the good times I had after that.
I love how you had to say the artist Prince. Like what other Prince.
You know, I don't know. Maybe Prince. One of those fucking princes in England. You know what
Princes
I mean?
of Tides.
Colby, just let him brag about bringing his people to our chat. Prince, one of his people.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna break down the college football playoff, then get to the FCS college football playoff picks, and then cap it off with Army and Navy. Before we get started on that, of course, shout out to Bet Rivers. Looking to bet on the college football invitational or the real playoffs, the FCS playoffs. You can do all that over on Bet Rivers. And why would you not treat yourself to a risk-free bet up to $500 depending on your jurisdiction? SportsGamblingPodcast.com/Bet Rivers. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/Bet Rivers. You can hit the QR code. You can sign up in the link. However you want to sign up. Support yourself and the Sports Gambling Podcast by hopping on the Bet Rivers app. Great live betting. I mean, live betting is awesome for the NFL, and they have a ton of props. Kramer and I always giving out some DGen only props. Coming off a nice cash on Jake Browning anytime touchdown. Got that 11-1. It was priced at over on Bet Rivers. So many ways to win. Depositing, withdrawing, super easy. It's just a classy book. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/Bet Rivers. Get that risk-free bet. Problem gambling? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. And of course, we're also brought to you by
Getting a little choked up, Sean.
Little Caesars. Little Caesars, the official pizza sponsor of the National Football League. But don't tell Little Caesars, it also goes well with college football. Love a, if I had to rank, this is how bad the committee is. The committee would probably have regular crust ranked above pretzel crust. Come on. Pretzel crust is undefeated. They are the Florida State. Show me a meal that wasn't made better with pretzel crust. It's a python of flavor surrounding pepperoni piled high with the golden buttery brown crust and those nice little salty sprinkles. Look at those. It's like sprinkles on a cupcake, but it's on a pretzel. Love Little Caesars pretzel crust pizza, the wings, the cookie dough brownie bites. They got it all. Delivery or our in-store pizza portal pickup. Grab some friends and enjoy a few slices during the game. Little Caesars pizza. So let's yell about the playoff.
Why are we yelling?
Well, I assume
Rabble.
Colby,
Rabble.
I know everyone's upset about Florida State being undefeated and not being left out of the playoff. Did you see that the state of Florida is thinking of like suing the?
They should. I mean, dude. They got robbed $6 million by that decision. That university did. So just on that, yeah. I mean, look, it's. I mean, come on.
Who's to blame?
We called this. We
you always
this.
are looking for the email address. Like who is your point? You get three fingers.
ESPN is
ESPN is number one.
Well, yeah, because they are in charge of the playoff essentially, and they obviously
they
want the
planted
SEC champion because that's their cash cow.
So they planted the seed.
Yeah, that's the problem with this whole operation. You can't have an entity involved with it like that. You know what I mean? Like,
because I feel there are some things out there alluding to the fact that the majority of the quote committee was not super ready or even aware of the idea of looking forward about what a team will look like, and that there was some politicking that happened during the ACC championship game. I believe ESPN reported on some of this, that the idea that their offense looked so bad was coming from them viewing the ACC championship game in which they were playing a quarterback they wouldn't have been playing in the playoff, which
it's all irrelevant though. Who gives a shit who your quarterback is? You win the game. You just beat a 10-2 team. Top 15 team in the country.
They beat Louisville with their
by double
quarterback.
Digits. Their third string quarterback.
If this is another team, and I think this is where people run into trouble, because if this is a Big Ten,
we saw this with Ohio State, and
right?
they even had a loss
to a
6-6 Virginia Tech
my
team.
Point. That great win, by the way, by my Hokies. But they would find a way to make that a positive, not a negative.
Yeah.
And whatever, it is what it is.
No, but I disagree with Colby where he says the same thing is going to happen with the 12-team playoff.
He's right in a sense.
How so?
in the sense that there's always going to be a situation where they're going to be able to choose the bigger conference team over like the decision.
They're going to take the 3-loss SEC team over over the 1-loss Big 12
Sure,
team.
but that decision becomes way less stakes. Right?
I guess
less,
to me, I'm way less sympathetic to a team that if you're undefeated,
but you should be, dude, because the schedule differences are that big.
True, but now that they have these mega conferences,
they're just going to.
Are they going to? Sorry,
they're going to continue to guarantee themselves like bigger guaranteed chunks of the pie. And so you're going to, as the playoff expands, it's going to be more and more guaranteed entries for.
And we almost saw it this year where JMU was an overtime loss. You know, they lost to App in overtime. You would have had 2 undefeated teams and one team not making it.
But that's okay
That's
because
not okay.
You scale it out to like what happens in college basketball, and for the most part, it's right. Sure. Is there a team
if a team goes undefeated, they deserve to play in the postseason no matter what?
No, and that's what Sean's saying is that problem will never exist again.
No, if Liberty and James Madison, which almost happened this year, we've had this happen before. UCF and Marshall, we've had this happen before where teams have gone, 2 teams have gone undefeated.
I think once we get to the healthy 2014 playoff, that they're obviously going to look at the FCS. Shout out to the FCS, and they're going to see, wow, this works pretty well. It gives us more home opportunities. Blah blah blah. I think you're going to get to a point where you'll never have that happen. So you don't have that problem.
A perfect example. Back to your point, Sean, but why I would refute that is. Arkansas played a month on the road in SEC play this year.
Yeah.
They would never do that to Alabama. They would never do that to Oklahoma. They would never do that to Ohio State.
But now you're back to pointing
but that's
at
not the college football playoff committee's job, right?
Well, no, but I mean, in a way, because the SEC, Greg Sankey's involved with ESPN.
No, but so the idea of enforcing a uniform scheduling system that is more fair.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would be all for that, but I don't know.
But my point is like if let's say because it seems like to me it's the same. If you dig deep into the schedules, like Iowa State, Arkansas, they always get fucked by this. So if they're sitting there, if Iowa State's sitting there at 9-3, and they're not getting in because another team's 9-3 or 10-2 or 8-4 in the SEC, then I think there is a legit gripe.
Well, I guess for me, when you have a 12-team playoff, if you didn't do enough to easily get in the 12-team playoff, then I feel way less sympathetic for you than Florida State going undefeated in the SEC.
Understand that, but I just think
Colby, you're right. The stakes are just lower. So instead of it being how can you possibly leave out an undefeated team, like they never lost the game, and you're saying they're not good enough. That should never happen. I agree with you. That's the case that I think everyone should agree that if you go undefeated, you're in.
Well, and also I would say to the lay college football fan, if you pay attention, do a deep dive on scheduling, like they protect the brands.
That's
so
fine.
they play the easiest.
Always
schedules.
has been. Always will be.
Well, that's why you need to cast a bigger net. That's why people think that 12 is the answer. It's not even the answer. You need to cast a big enough net.
But Colby,
64.
Just like a ladder, we need to get up incrementally, one step at a time. And so going from 2 to 4 and then 4 to 12, I think we're on the right path. And I think they're going to very quickly realize that there's more money in more playoffs, and they'll be like, we have enough time to do what the FCS does.
Yeah.
Bing, bang, boom. Now, maybe we even get to a place where we're talking about getting rid of the conference championship because it's more valuable to have a longer actual playoff.
That I've heard people say that, and look, I'm on board with that, but I don't think it will because I think that makes too much money
for some people. But if you're like the SEC probably makes the most money on their championship game for TV rights. But if instead of that they guarantee an extra team in the playoff, and that guarantees the same amount of money. And now they're going to have 4 out of whatever teams.
Look, I hope so, but I change doesn't happen very well in college.
It will
athletics.
now, though. I think money's forcing it. The transfer portal and all that's forcing the hand of all of this stuff. And I think the accelerant's been poured.
Yeah, but what a complete
I think
failure.
the witch hunt, your witch hunt, will always exist, just like it exists with 68 teams in
yeah, but I'm okay with that because that's a big enough one where did I think one team get robbed, but it's like you still had your chances. At 12, that's still not the case to me. 12,
sure.
it's going to be
before we close the doors on this company, we will be at a 2014 playoff. That's my prediction.
We're closing the doors.
No, I'm saying before, sometime
very
in the future.
open-ended.
Ominous. Sometime in the future, I would say me and Sean have at least 15 years in us. That sounds like a lot.
Wow, that sounds like we're gonna die in 15 years, Ryan.
I mean, I've always thought 55 was a good.
You did. I knew you weren't a football guy. 'Cause I'm a lifer. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
come on, Colby and I will be doing this when we're 60.
I don't want to live when my dick's not working.
Oh, well, I mean, have you seen Robert Kraft? I mean, your dick can work for a long time.
science is coming, buddy.
Yeah, you think they'll just replace that?
You have to know when to come.
Just hit it with a little bit of shockwave.
Stem cell.
Some bits and bytes.
Get a new dick.
Go to Germany and get a new dick.
Would Colby? Is there a chance? I mean, at a 12-team playoff, you can't go. How would a team go undefeated and not make the college football playoff?
Well, there's only one group of five bid, so it almost happened this year.
it would have
very very close to happening this year.
He's alluding to the idea that 2 group of 5 teams go undefeated. Which
has happened before.
They only guarantee the top one.
Yeah.
And so my counter to that would be, I'll be interested to see as college football evolves and people watch all the games all the time now because packages are more accessible than ever and streaming and all that. I do think that you're going to, like, we've talked about this, but you're going to see a power shift in, like, even group of 5 teams that have fan bases, because now, just like you distribute the power to the fan base, right? So let's say ECU. Let's use ECU as an example. If we start looking at teams through how many numbers they do on a game,
I am an East Carolina fan.
Could the ECU fan base rival, I don't know, use some Wisconsin in terms of like streams or whatever that metric is? I think you can absolutely see that start to happen. So I think this is all going to get sorted out too, because it's going to expand again. So.
Yeah, but let's talk about what a bad job they did. Because Florida State's played more Power Fives than Michigan and Alabama.
It doesn't matter though.
No, that should matter. And they also didn't lose like Alabama did.
Florida State got hosed.
Yeah.
Alabama was given a gift, and the reality is the SEC and the Big Ten had below 500 records versus the other Power
Fives. The Big Ten sucked this year,
and the ACC and the Pac-12 were above 500, and it was a bizarro year.
They fucked up the seeding. Washington should have been 1.
But they applied the typical conventional wisdom about how good conferences are to a year where everything was upside down.
Don't you find it fitting that the only teams in are future Big Ten and SEC teams? Read between the lines there.
No, I'm not. Well, obviously, I don't have a problem with the fact that, like, if you exclude Florida State for the reasons they did, this would be the top 4. Would you agree with that statement?
I mean,
if you were stupid enough to think that Florida State doesn't deserve to be in because their quarterback got hurt,
I think you can make a case that Ohio State is better than Alabama. I think you can make a case that Oregon is better than Alabama. It's not our fault. It's not the Pac-12's fault. Well, it is actually in this instance, but Georgia and Alabama never play in the regular season because the SEC's 8-game scheduling model, they play like one every 15 years. We got to see Oregon and Washington in the regular season, and that essentially is what's robbing Oregon of saying, "Hey, I deserve to be in the playoffs right now." So to me, like, yeah, I mean, Ohio State and even Georgia should sit there being like, "What the fuck? We have 1 loss. You know, we could beat Texas." You know what I mean? What's the difference? If they basically looked at the Alabama Texas game and said this game's not relevant. That game never happened. That's essentially what they did. So if you're a Georgia fan, I'd say, well, you know what? Why can't you do that same logic for the SEC championship where we lost by 3 and there were some very questionable calls in that game?
Well, again, if only the alliance didn't slow down playoff expansion in the first place.
It was a handshake deal. They had this figured out.
We would have the expansion would have been done for 2023. We would have a 12-team playoff this year.
That's true.
How electric would that 12-team playoff be?
Yeah, 100%. I was pissed off at
you
that.
idiots.
And now
anyway, so but we are where we are, and we don't like to look in the rearview mirror too much. Colby loves to. Sean loves to. I don't love to. But we should look forward. Aren't you excited for the games?
I mean,
admit it.
Can we talk about this already though? Florida State, you already got Johnny Wilson sitting out the bowl game. A couple players hit the portal. So there's if anyone's going to use that logic, the Florida State Georgia game,
it's not working.
Yeah, get that shit out of here.
AAU culture, NBA culture is all up in this. All right. So, but you're excited about the games.
I mean, it's football. I'll watch fucking, dude, I watch Japanese college football.
Colby.
You know what I mean?
The games are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a TMZ guy, this is what TMZ guys want.
I'm a little upset of the way it played out. Washington should have been playing in LA at the Rose Bowl.
That's fair.
And now they have to basically play an away game in New Orleans at Texas, where they have the best resume. They were undefeated. That bothers me. You know what I mean? Like,
this is where college basketball doesn't screw this up.
Yeah.
You go undefeated, you get rewarded with some sort of geolocation edge.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do? It is what it is.
And you gotta love the logic.
Washington people have money; they'll travel. I know Texas will have the crowd.
You gotta love the logic on well, Florida State's got injuries. Let's not put them in, but Texas has played 7 backup quarterbacks. I appreciate that. No one mentions that.
Again, it's utterly it's insanely stupid that you could look at a team that doesn't lose a game in spite losing a quarterback and then losing a quarterback again, and you can call yourself a something football committee and think that that's a reason to leave
Coach
him out.
Leach, man. Coach Leach had it.
No, he really nailed it.
Yeah.
I mean, he mocked them 5 years ago and they walked right into it.
Yeah.
They literally walked right into it.
What did he originally wanted 64 teams, right?
He won 64, but he said minimum I think 24, I think he said.
And if you haven't seen the rant, I mean, him discussing the committee stuff kind of went viral, but the real clip you got to check is the one of where he breaks down like how difficult it would be to figure out a playoff, and then points out that every other level of football, in fact, uses a playoff.
I'm trying to find that for you right now.
We don't have to play. We'll link to it in the thing. But wait, and they literally are walking into it. I mean, this is classic corporate America for you. It doesn't matter. The rich guys in charge don't look at email. They can't be bothered with that. And they're controlled by some people that fiddle around their asshole.
Wow, Ryan, you're going after people who don't look at email. The pot calling the kettle black here.
No, I manage my inboxes by setting clear requirements around when I'll look at email. Email is meant to be eventually consistent.
Okay.
It's eventually consistent. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. The games will be good. Who gives a shit?
Yes, exactly.
Football will be played.
We'll be able to get down on them. Hey, maybe you want to go check out these games. Or do you
Colby just gave you a look of disgust.
Oh
like
no,
I've never seen.
I'm gonna watch.
You
the
don't
games.
have an opinion, you snorkeling
no,
motherfucker.
I
play that where hero the snorks or whatever.
I do think Florida State should have been in, but I was saying Alabama's gonna get in weeks ago.
I mean, I called it too, but it was just I caught it on the fucking Saturday show. I was like, yeah, they're gonna put Bama in over Florida State. Watch, they're not. They're you're gonna see the corruption. You're gonna see this is like watching.
Alabama did have to beat Georgia. I mean, Alabama doesn't. It's not like they were gifted it completely.
Okay, hang on. If they're gonna use the logic that Florida State struggled against Florida and Louisville, where they won double digits, right, against a rival on the road and at a neutral site, and say, well, they look kind of questionable. Those guys. Well, Alabama didn't look questionable against a shitty Auburn team needing a 4th and 31 8 days ago. Before that. No. Yeah.
I mean, that all that aside, which I agree. Like, that's why it's stupid. They should just have like the NFL. You have you have divisions.
Yeah.
And the division winners
you're
in. And the wild card. That's like, college football.
It's the corruption.
College football is dumb and just never figured it out. But yeah, I mean, Alabama still did have to beat Georgia.
True, but even that, I mean, you can definitely argue the biggest play of that game was dropped.
Right, but I'm saying they still beat what was ranked the number 1 team.
It was a huge win, and they deserve credit for beating Georgia. But at the same time, what I mean, Louisville's 10-2. It's not a bad win by Florida State.
You've pointed out all the people that could potentially be upset. But if Colby was making the decision, and again, Florida,
no-brainer.
Florida State's not on the table.
That's the irony. This was the easiest one.
All right, so
this is the easiest one they could have ever got.
They made their decision harder by taking Florida State off the table. So if we take Florida State off the table for you, who is the top 4?
Well, I would go with the conference winners, and I think they would get that. But in my opinion, if they're going to say the best 4 teams, then I think they're wrong, because I think Ohio State.
No. But I'm saying, what would you do if you were in charge? No fingers to point. Just
I would take the teams that won the championship games then. Yeah. But if you have no ACC, you put your 4 conference champs in. Yeah.
And then you would just alter the seating a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. So then we got got it right.
Maybe you add Liberty.
They got it right.
Yeah.
They got it right.
Lube Gaming saying, Ryan, I got a feeling your NFL slot is going to be hot this Friday.
Oh, thanks, bro.
The slot.
We're celebrating Ryan first NFL slot machine win.
I don't think I shared this part of the story where I was down to like 2 more spins, or I was going to be walking away
Is
pissed
truly
off.
back against the wall and pulled out a nice whatever their overtime cash thing was. Got sweet bonuses.
It was electric. I didn't know when it was going to stop. I was getting. Turned out to be a very nice thing. Unlike Colby's opinion of the playoff, although they did get it right. I just got Colby to admit they got it right by taking Florida State out.
Not getting it right.
Well, they got it. Yeah. They got it right in the weird.
And their comments are even worse. We put the 4 best teams in. Completely fucking subjective. Completely fucking subjective. Well, no, I'm saying like Ohio State, had they not played, if they had. It hurts them by Georgia and Alabama never playing in the regular season.
Yep. That's why
they played in the SEC championship game.
I know.
It's WWE.
Alabama won. They're in.
I mean, look, Virginia Tech's hottest team in the country. One of the hottest teams in the country.
Don't let the Hokies get hot, Ryan.
So I mean, you want to talk about who's playing the best football right now? Neutral field, Alabama, Virginia Tech. I'm pretty sure it's a pick.
It wouldn't surprise me one bit. Yeah. Virginia Tech's just as good as Auburn.
Spicy hot.
Shit, maybe even better.
It feels like we've always had blowouts in the first round of the. We'll transition on this last point because I know the audience is they've heard it a lot.
Colby or Sean's projecting his opinion.
No. We've seen a bunch of blowouts in the first round of the college football playoff. Would this year be different? Because you look at the spreads for these games.
Well,
Alabama, Michigan, really close spread.
Last year's were awesome. Last year were 2 1-score games.
Yeah, I was going to say the blowout happened in the national championship.
Yeah, that was.
So no, but I think a lot of that
Remember
is.
We thought TCU would win.
We were super excited.
Some of us, not you or not me.
Yeah, did they win?
It was close.
They're still coming back.
What's it called?
So I'm just saying, Alabama plus 1.5 right now. Washington plus 4.5.
A lot of that's NIL and everything, though, man. I feel like that also some of the first years of the CFP Invitational was
wrong teams are favored. I think.
Ryan, don't spoil the picks.
I'm just like instant reaction. That was what I thought when I looked at the numbers.
Colby, any thoughts on the opening line? Washington getting 4.5 against Texas.
I think it's a little steep. I think I would lean.
Shit,
I think Washington. I mean, they played in the Alamo Bowl last year.
Hit the breaking news.
Yeah.
Got to remind everyone: Colby hates Texas. Colby hates Texas. Be very careful.
Shout out!
Washington's getting 4.5.
I forgot who was in the.
No. I mean, you hate Texas. You're always going to pick against Texas because you hate Texas.
Oh yeah,
is my point.
Yeah,
that's just a friendly reminder.
I'm just reminding the audience.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe you want to actually go to see some of these semifinals. I'm looking at the prices right now for the Rose Bowl over on Game Time. And if you haven't signed up over on Game Time, what are you waiting for? Perfect holiday gift. Maybe you have someone on your holiday list that's a big Michigan, Alabama fan, Texas, Washington. You can send them to these sweet playoff games and use the promo code SGPN over at GameTime.co. Download the Game Time app. Very easy to set up, get going, find you great tickets. Kramer was showing me when you do the view from your seat. I didn't realize it's also like 3-dimensional. So you can like if you turn your phone, it will actually show you the different seats, and you get some sweet seat views.
Are we doing a company Rose Bowl? Assuming I can get in. Are we doing?
Yeah, cool. Colby, you're still on the list, so we'll see. But I went to the Rose Bowl last year. It was an awesome experience. Definitely a bucket list.
I could
college football stadium experience.
I could show up in Connor Stalions gear. Yeah. You know what I mean? Let's go.
GameTime.co. Well, maybe they think Connor Stalions do a little scouting there. Well, I guess Michigan is playing, so too late. But GameTime.co. Promo code SGPN. $20 off your first purchase. GameTime.co or download the Game Time app. Use promo code SGPN. We're also ready by Underdog Fantasy. We don't have any Underdog college football pick'ems out yet, but anything they post for Army Navy, you're probably looking to maybe go lower on your projections there. Although who knows, the numbers will be comically low. Underdog Fantasy, so fun. Pick them for the NFL, college basketball. Of course, NBA got you covered, and use that promo code SGPN, 100% deposit match up to $100. Underdog Fantasy promo code SGPN. Kramer.
I would imagine there'll be any like local people that go to the Rose Bowl will be dressed up as Connor Stallions because they'll think it's funny and they'll just be tapped into it, and they're from LA and they're not really, they're TMZ fans.
Yeah.
Well, who do you think is going to be more hilarious to see take over Pasadena, California?
Roll Tide.
The Michigan fans feel like they'll fit right in. The Alabama
Michigan fans already live here. I feel like they work in show business.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
the Alabama fans are going to be like, damn.
Yeah, they're going to come through. How about
y'all got some small yards here.
Speaking of Alabama, former Saban assistant current Marshall head coach Charles Huff.
Oh boy,
I love this headline here. He goes, Marshall head coach Charles Huff says starting quarterback Cam Fancher was miserable, entered the transfer portal because fans hate him. Strong.
I mean,
soft.
It's very honest.
Soft.
Yeah, I mean the transfer portal is gaping right now.
It's like 2,000 players overnight,
and a lot of I mean, you want to talk about the number one argument as to why Ohio State doesn't deserve to be in the playoff because their quarterback's transferring.
Well, they forced them, I think.
Yeah. That's crazy. They're like, you're not. We're gonna get another one. What year was he? A junior, sophomore?
I think a junior. I think he had another.
Come
2
on,
years.
what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Get me a rocking chair. This is ridiculous. Can't even. How am I supposed to keep track of? Imagine trying to keep track of a college program. Guys coming in, guys coming. How do you do all those team previews, Colby? Must be pretty crazy. All right, you want to talk FCS playoffs?
Fuck yes, a real
Let's
playoff.
Go.
Yeah.
Wait, so who did it? So who's on the FCS committee for the playoff?
You win and you're in, and then actually they do have a committee, but after that.
Wait, I didn't know this. What does the committee do?
How many conferences are there?
Well, it depends.
So how do you get an auto?
So you have the Celebration Bowl, essentially the SWAC and the MEAC.
Yeah, they don't.
The
play
teams
in the
Well, North Carolina Central opted to play in the FCS playoffs this year.
Oh,
they lost to Richmond in the opening round after they were disqualified from the MEAC championship. So there is it depends on on essentially if those teams that are do they meet the criteria to play in it?
Okay.
So it kind of
I didn't realize it was this subjective. I thought it was just
this is complicated.
Well, no, you get your division winners in.
Okay.
Every team like the Patriot League, Fordham, Shock,
how many
Holy
conferences
Cross.
are there? 10.
Well, yes, but not necessarily.
So
It depends
9 or
on
10.
it depends
Got
on
it.
who.
and
accepts it.
Lafayette Leopards, as we know, suck. They lost to Delaware.
But
Fuck
dude,
off, Lafayette.
they got the auto bid because and that's what's great about it is like you control your own destiny. You win your conference, you're in.
So the winners get in, and then the other.
I thought Holy Cross should have got in over North Carolina Central.
The other 12 spots are selected by a committee or something. Like that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's more like it's like college basketball.
Yeah.
So, starting Friday, I assume the dates are correct here.
Friday night,
6 p.m. in Missoula, one of Colby's favorite places in the country.
Oh, go catch a football game there. Thank me later.
At least in the Continental 48.
You know what they're calling for? Did you guys catch this game last
Do
week?
we have weather?
Yes,
Little
we
snow?
have more snow.
I did
Last
see
week,
last
Delaware at Montana. Dude, that was like maybe the most snow I've ever seen in a football game.
Blue Hens were grounded.
Blue Hens were really grounded. Sean was a little
Nice.
upset.
Oh well.
But
it's that Philly runoff water in Delaware.
the Grizz, and they're calling for snow Friday
Joe
night.
Flacco.
High of 35 degrees.
Oh boy, and you got Furman coming into town
from Greenville, South Carolina.
Come on, Montana laying 17.5, minus 1,000 on the money line.
It's tough to fade Montana at home in that environment, but the Furman defense playing pretty good. They can get to the quarterback. Got some decent defenders. What do you think, Colby?
Well, that's another thing we want to talk about.
You're down 2 touchdowns.
Shout
and
out to
cold
them.
as
They
fuck.
play home games. Makes it so much fucking better.
When does the neutral site game start?
The championship.
So just like at the NFL, wow, that's a crazy model.
It's crazy, right?
And then you reward the home team with more revenue because they get more games. Furman plus 650. Yeah, Furman going to the cold that feels like a strong handicap.
Well,
right?
dude, I did the FCS show and I just saw 2 days ago and I did that they weren't calling for snow. Now I see like a lot of snow in the forecast. I think that kind of changes my handicap.
Really?
Because
Are you saying you already picked Furman?
I thought Furman could cover 17 and just grass.
If you think Colby can't Benedict an FCS playoff game, then you must be new to the program.
We're all over Montana now.
Really?
Yeah.
Because the Paladins got their quarterback back, got their running back last week.
They've never been in snow in their life, dude. Think about all their recruits are from South Carolina, Florida, Alabama.
They don't play games north of Tennessee, do they?
No.
I mean, I'd say that this.
All right, yeah, I'll take Montana, but I'm slightly worried about this. This feels a little.
I mean,
reckless.
go back to that Delaware game. It was like snaps going over the head. They look like they never been in snow, which is crazy because they get snow.
I'm not even seeing a game last year that they would have played north of anywhere.
All right, I'll take Montana.
I mean, this is like
play Montana.
I don't even know if the program do they have jackets? Are they gonna be equipped?
Should we get them some SGPN jackets?
I'm getting concerned for these kids. Missoula's a cold place. Do they know how early the sun goes down this time of year? My God, pray for these kids. It's gonna be dark 3 hours before kickoff.
They might not score a point.
Wait, this is 6 p.m. local time, so it's 7 p.m. their time.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be dark.
My God.
Yeah.
And do we know the lunar cycle? How much of will there be a lot of light at that time? Montana
is a tough team to go against at home in a playoff environment.
Oh my God.
Slightly concerned about this Paladins.
It's a big number, but who gives a shit? 9 a.m. on Saturday, Brookings, South Dakota. Nova heads up to South Dakota State. This is another, obviously Philly, a little bit of a cold weather area, but boy, I think the Dakotas hit differently. South Dakota State, Jackrabbits laying 20.5, minus 2,000 on the money line. Villanova, a true underdog story here, 11-1 on the money line for a single football game. Sean, we got to remember to get some FCS bets in when we're out on Friday for Sports Gambling Podcast Live on VSiN, midnight Eastern.
22-mile-an-hour winds.
Oh my God, who runs the ball better?
I'm going to say South Dakota State. They're the more physical team, but I mean, Villanova's been
20.5 seems kind of bonkers. Where is this number coming from? Because Villanova put up 45 on Youngstown State. Doesn't that? I mean, usually when this number is that big, it means something. South Dakota took down Mercer 41-0, but I think Villanova can put up some points. Am I crazy?
I mean, they've been a pretty good team this year. 10-2. The CAA was pretty good. It's going to be tough to go into the Dyke House and win, but I mean,
what happens in the Dyke House?
Watch your language.
Remember that we used to have a bar near our house in Burbank.
They played at the Dyke House.
It was a Dyke House,
and only lost by 14 in 2021. I think they can cover the number 2, even though the Jackrabbits look pretty fucking unstoppable this season.
Well, and maybe even a look ahead spot for the Jackrabbits, right? I mean. What are you laughing at?
That's good. That was good. A look ahead spot in the playoffs. That's good.
You don't think you think they're really taking Villanova seriously? This is a team that's the number 1 seed.
I mean, Villanova's been a blue blood for they've been very good, man.
I think we learned. I think we learned something last time we did this FCS stuff, and you got to lay the big numbers with the class because the FCS is not that deep at the top, and there's probably some teams in here that are. Maybe in name, Villanova deserves to hang around, but by the number, clearly, market telling us Jackrabbits all the way.
No, take the points. Take the points. I think Nova's defense can keep them in this game.
We learned this last time we picked these games, these FCS playoff games. Big chalk early in the FCS playoffs. What round are we in? Round of
3rd. So I'd say it's winner goes to the Final Four.
Okay. So the Cinderella stories end for Furman and Villanova. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but there's a Cinderella story we like out there in Moscow.
Okay, we love Moscow. So are we all well, you guys are all agreeing. I'm taking South Dakota State.
Yeah, dude, Villanova all that way. Like, what are you talking about? 20.5.
They're used to the cold weather. They're going to be able to stay around.
Different kind of cold weather. You know that. You know
that wind is going to help. It's going to help both teams. They're going to have to. They're going to. It's going to be conservative.
Villanova is very close to the Atlantic Ocean compared to South Dakota State. It's a different. It hits different up there.
Okay.
North Dakota State. They're heading to
Vermilion, South Dakota.
That's almost a made up. Like that was some villain moved there and named the city after himself. They're taking on South Dakota, another home dog in the this round of the playoffs. Pretty interesting. So I'm guessing that means the whatever conference North Dakota State comes out of is just a juggernaut.
Missouri Valley Conference,
and then South Dakota comes from a softer conference.
No, same conference. They beat them head to head earlier this
so they
year.
Just have the seeding.
24-19.
Wow. So okay, 6.5 point home dogs plus 220 on the money line, minus 270.
Let's talk about this.
State.
Let's talk about this because North Dakota State very fortunate to win last week. They were down the entire game. They somehow get the game to overtime. They block an extra point in overtime, and that's how they advance. South Dakota, their only losses are at South Dakota State this year, and then at Missouri, and they actually played Missouri kind of tough.
I feel like we watched some of that game.
Dude, the Coyotes are pretty fucking strong this year. Like I said, they beat North Dakota State back on.
North Dakota State's a dome team too. Now you're outdoors.
No. Both are dome here. This is the Dakota Dome. This is pretty disgusting.
Oh,
and
why do you like FCS school?
Yeah, no, because I like South Dakota State. I like Montana. Montana State. They play big, but there is more domes in the FCS.
Well, this is I saw this headline: Soft ass University of South Dakota canceled North Dakota State University fans' tickets for their playoff game this week because the Bison fans were able to guess playoffs as the password for the South Dakota booster presale. So they hacked the presale.
Very creative with that.
You think it was man behind enemy? I like how they're trying to give him credit for hacking something. Someone got the email.
This is Spaceballs.
No one guessed
the number on my luggage is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the same number as my luggage.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but yeah. Colby familiar with highly secure things.
I mean, dude, South Dakota's coach though, Bob Nielsen, makes me think of Tecmo Bowl people if they know Bob Nelson, legend. But Bob Nielsen, South Dakota's head coach, Sean, he still rocks the suit and the tie.
Yeah,
I can't fade that.
Be careful.
I can't fade that.
Sean, be careful.
Give me the Coyotes catching points. They're been the better team all year.
Oh, I'm always fading North Dakota State. Always auto fade on North Dakota State. This is like Washington. This is like Washington, Oregon.
It is hard to beat a team twice in the regular, in one season. But come on, they're at home. Let's get it going.
Quarterfinal records of home teams since the FCS playoff format was expanded to 24 teams. What do you guess their home record is, Ryan?
Oh,
36 games.
They probably smash. It's probably a lot like in college basketball, where once you sift it down, the difference between the very top and the second tier even is still pretty big. So 85%.
Close. 26-10.
I played the game wrong.
Of the home teams, straight up.
Sorry, 60%.
Yeah, there you go. No, I mean obviously that's not ATS, but they're a dog. So I think they are a live dog, especially at plus 220 on the money line. South Dakota State all day.
Yeah, I think it's like one home team maybe drops the bag. Maybe this is probably the home team that I would bet to do that. Listen to these scores. North Dakota State lately, 66-3 against Drake, powerhouse. 48-27 against Northern Iowa on the road. 34-10 against our Salukis. I mean, I'm going to ignore the game they lost, but
how about this though? I mean, South Dakota beat them at the Fargo Dome back in late September.
Even more reason this is revenge. You guys are come on.
Lane
chalk.
Lane 6.5 is crazy.
It's my only FCS note. Take the chalk. 7 p.m. and that was 11:30 a.m. on Saturday. Now we're heading to another. What time are they? That game started at 9:30 a.m. local.
What are you talking about?
Is that time correct?
Oh
no, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's all right. Gotcha.
I'm
an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. That's all. All right, 7 p.m. on the West Coast. We're heading to Moscow, Idaho, where we once stayed together in a bed and breakfast with llamas.
You got a chickpea pussy burger. If
that's right.
If memory serves us correct,
I did. I got a chickpea burger. Thank you for asking.
Coleslaw burger.
I was very creative in my attempts to not put that horrible animal fat into my veins.
Dude, you're in Idaho. That's where it tastes. That's
great.
Better.
You laugh at you laugh at a medical condition. That's funny. Just like Italian Americans.
Wow.
Ha ha.
And
forget about
the
it.
Dago Dimes t-shirts are flying off the rack over at store.sportsgamblingpodcast.com.
They're standing for Italian Americans.
That and unfortunately, people have figured out how to buy the Brock Hard Purdy shirts. In spite of me, not.
Wow.
wanting them to buy them. Jake just cares about his dollars over there at the merch store.
I think he's even saying it's potentially banning a shirt from the store has helped the sales for that shirt. So
diabolical, some would say. And I guess there's some promo code you can save, but I won't tell it to you. You have to figure that out. You have to ask Jake. I'm not giving that shit.
Basically, supply and demand. By reducing supply, you created demand. Genius. Yeah, no, Idaho. Now we're talking about a home team, another home team. Like I said, strategy was go 3-1 with the home teams. Idaho's our Vandals. We really enjoy. I mean, you could almost argue that the downtown area of Moscow, greater than the downtown area of Pullman. We were there.
One place has the Coug.
Well, that's true, but if you ignore the Coug, Moscow kind of more of a classic downtown vibe.
They didn't have that pool hall.
Almost had a Fort Collins vibe to it.
That pool hall I walked into where I was like fucking Minnesota Fats over there.
Yeah, I
Minnesota Fats.
I assume Colby's gonna love Albany here.
Oh, look, I got CJ Sullivan to take a future on them potentially to win the championship. Now, I think this is a good thing that this happened. Like Idaho should have lost last week. Southern Illinois missed a field goal in regulation to win the game. Southern Illinois was up the entire game. In overtime, Idaho got it done. I understand this filthy Kibbe Dome gets lit, but I think Poffenberger, dude, he's thrown 33 touchdowns this year, and their defense has been pretty nasty. So I think they're going to come in there and push around an Idaho team that's also dinged up a little bit. They've been unhealthy for
Poffenberger has thrown for 3,030 yards, 33 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 150 rush yards, 5 touchdowns.
I want to highlight this here. Idaho's offensive line got injuries. They're starting a bunch of freshmen. Look at that Albany D line. You're seeing it at Florida State with Jared Verse, who's going to be a first round draft pick, who is a transfer from Albany. But how about AJ Simon has 12 sacks on the season? Also Anton Junkaj.
What?
Junha. I don't know. He has 11 sacks. He has 11 sacks on the season too. I'm telling you, that D line's gonna fuck them up. Let's go.
All right, I guess I'll take 2 road teams.
Albany +4.5.
I mean, again, just Google Poffenberger hoops.
Dude can dunk.
Watch that. I mean, watch that athleticism and tell me you want to.
Why is Virginia Tech not on the phone with this guy?
Well, because we got Mr. Drone Strike himself.
Hey, have you guys signed up with HelloFresh yet? What are you waiting for? Love me some HelloFresh. Helps make a stress-free holiday season. Imagine less time in the grocery store. I'm all in. You get tasty recipes delivered right to your door. Very easy to prepare. Over 45 recipes and more than 100 seasonal add-on items to choose from every week. So it's easier than ever to find something everyone will enjoy. Very easy to put together. That's why they call them the 15-minute meals. They also have breakfast items. Breakfast stuff is very, very good. Even have the maybe you're getting ready for the UCLA game. They have crowd pleasing charcuterie boards and also photo worthy desserts. Such great selection over at HelloFresh. Saves you time, saves you money. Love it.
How do you feel about charcuterie?
I like it. Yeah, I like.
I just like saying that word.
That's one of those words that if you were
like
just
Worcestershire sauce.
Like if you came up to Colby 10 years ago and said charcuterie, he might think you were trying to fight him or something.
You know what? You're not fighting savings. That's why you're going to HelloFresh.com/SGPN free and use code SGPN free for free breakfast for life. Love breakfast and love stuff that's free. 1 breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/SGPN free with code SGPN free. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. And we're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. Love me some Hall of Fame Bets. Perfect for getting down on some sweet parlays. Optimize those parlays with the Hall of Fame Bets Parlay Optimizer. The deep data button makes it so easy to find value. Don't let your weak third leg take out your parlay. Go to HOFBets.com or download the Hall of Fame Bets app. Use promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month. That's promo code SGPN to get 50% over at HallOfFameBets.com or download the Hall of Fame Bets app. Start betting smarter, not harder. Love me some Hall of Fame bets. And now the moment everyone's been waiting for. Army versus Navy. Kramer and I have our gear supporting the troops. Colby, not so much. Classic Benedict Dundee.
Ditched the option this year, Sean. So I mean,
just like in this fine country, 2/3 of people support the troops, 1/3 do not.
Ungrateful.
We're truly an American.
Well,
company,
you got to remember. Actually, I should wear some Army gear because they ditched. They started doing all this cha passing and
throwing of a forward pass.
Here's what I love about it: the winner's going to go to a bowl game. And
Wait, where is this game being played?
Foxborough.
Oh,
Yeah.
Why is it being
Should
played?
be in Philly.
It's a baby fucking wheel,
It's
man.
at FedEx next year too. Good luck with that.
Really?
Yeah.
That is gross. You're making the soldiers go to FedEx. Anyway, yeah. I mean, noon on Saturday, a classic. Army laying 3 minus 155.
Can we do a little Army breakdown here?
Navy plus 130. Total is, drum roll please, 27.5.
So I want to just talk about Army here. They said they're going to be throwing the ball, and they were throwing the ball all over the field to start the season.
How'd that go?
They were 2-6.
And then what happened?
And then Jeff Monken said, "I am done with this shit." All right. He said, "I'm done with it." And then look, they played Air Force, and if you're wondering how many times they threw the ball against Air Force on November 4th, this was a turning point.
All right, me and Sean are gonna guess.
Okay.
How many times did Army throw the ball versus Air Force on what date?
November 4th.
November 4th.
4.
All right, I'm gonna go with 6.
Both wrong. 9.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
But hold on.
Jesus.
Let's go to the next week
Well,
though, because they
running an air
won.
raid?
They won, and then all of a sudden you're thinking, hey. So the very next week, guess how many passes they threw?
I'm guessing it goes down, so I'll go 6 again.
15.
6 is correct.
Oh,
Right. They're rediscovering who they are. Then they played Coastal Carolina.
please
Guess
tell
what
me.
they did?
Please tell me they didn't run the ball. Or they didn't pass the ball once.
They passed once, but it was incomplete. One time. And they beat Coastal Carolina 28-21. This is what I'm talking about. Jeff Monken realizing, whoa, what the hell was I doing?
Wait,
What?
so the change in the cut block rule isn't affecting their ability to
Make
run
them call it. It's
Oh,
like Troy
really?
Calhoun's thing. Troy Calhoun's like, I'm going to make them have to call it.
So they just basically they're assuming the refs have no idea what the rule is, and they're just going to continue to basically cheat. Love it.
I mean, what is holding anyway? You know
Well,
what
I mean, first of all, I didn't think the triple option had an advantage. I as someone who watched Georgia Tech for many years, it was annoying. I didn't think you need to make a rule to make it go away. Just like I don't think you need to make a rule to make the tush push go away. Like if someone's found a good way to do something, like don't try to legislate it out of it. That's not very American. So yeah, give me and let's, for the record, I'm never on Navy. Those fucking those sailors, they can get on the side of my boat and clean off some barnacles.
I don't know. My
Oh, go Army, go, or what do they say?
Go Army, go.
Yeah, let's go.
my instincts are to take Army because they're playing really good football. Can't say this quite the same thing for Navy, although
Army did win last year though, so the motivation.
They did. Navy did beat East Carolina 10-0. What happened in that game, Colby?
I am an East Carolina fan.
ECU's trash ass quarterbacks.
Oh no.
Just couldn't complete a pass, and that's why they fired the offense coordinator. I thought they should have fired the head coach, but maybe he's got some.
Are you out on ECU right now?
Very mad. Very mad.
I am an East Carolina fan.
I mean, Navy's beaten UAB.
They suck.
You look at their mutual opponents, though. Navy did lose to Air Force. Army beat Air Force. Navy just got waxed by SMU. This is tough because I normally instinctively always take the dog Army Navy, but I don't know. What are you doing, Colby?
Cheapest tickets $253.
Wow.
No, dude. Look, Navy's still doing that cha stuff. Army has came to their senses.
What's the weather like for this game? Do we know?
I saw I want to say I saw Saturday high of 52, low of 38, a chance of some scattered storms.
Ooh, we could have weather in this one.
Chance of that though. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen at night.
It's been 20 years since Army Navy, as far as the total. It's been 20 years since the game had over 40 points.
Well, the total's 27.5.
No, I know. That's why it's crazy. They keep moving it down.
I think we play the over this year.
No.
Look, this was a 20-17 game last year.
Over hit last year, right?
And the year before was 17-13.
You're going back-to-back overs. You're insane.
And I'm riding the Black Knights here. Let's go.
13-6. Army wins. Give a score prediction.
Okay.
Don't be a pussy.
I'm gonna say, give me 20 to. They're gonna go for 2 or something. Give me a 20-12 final. Black Knights get it done.
20-12.
Yeah.
I'll go.
Actually, I'm gonna change my score. 15-6.
Army wins 15-6.
Yes.
Okay. So you're on the under.
Fucked up score.
These games are awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Army. Army wins 13-9.
Well, that's a good one.
If I had to tell aliens, what should we watch with college football? Army Navy's first answer.
Really?
Yeah, it's the best.
Take us to your college football leader.
This will be better than any playoff game.
Imagine how
Really?
Yeah.
Imagine how cool the aliens would be if the first thing they wanted to know was which college football game they should watch.
It's true. It's true.
The human representative for college football entertainment viewership, Colby Dant, please step forward. The aliens would like to speak to you.
The name is Dundee.
Dundee.
Colby comes up with the Dundee
Dundee.
knife. You call that a knife?
You call that a laser? This is a laser. All right, time for the lock dog tease bonus lock. I don't even know. Do we need a tease? I don't think we do.
No, we don't need a tease. They don't let you tease FCS.
They don't. They got I've
Colby
teased a few.
or Ryan, what are you doing? Locks, dogs. What do we got?
Lock Army -3.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Dog, smoking that puffin burger.
Albany on the money line.
He's gonna be in the NFL. True.
He's an athlete, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only a sophomore.
He's gonna be in the NFL.
I think he could be.
Buying stock in that guy right now. Bonus lock.
Yep.
Oof. That Montana game, Sean. When we got to Vegas, put a reminder. We're betting on this one. Those Southern boys, they ain't know about the weather in Montana. It hits different.
Guys are making some compelling cases here. What's up?
People are making compelling cases for Furman.
No, I said you guys, meaning you and Colby,
Yeah.
about your weather angle and fading the palette.
It's the best angle on the board. That's why it's a lock.
Okay. For me, my lock, give me Albany +4.5. For my dog, South Dakota, let's go. And it's South Dakota regular, not state, right?
Yeah, it's just the Coyotes there.
Yeah, I mean Jackrabbit, way cooler than
+220 on the money line, like that. And then bonus lock, Army -6.
What's the top mascot in the FCS play? You got the Vandals, the Great Danes.
Vandals is out.
Great Danes is fucking phenomenal.
Out.
Hater.
Out.
Hater.
I mean, they don't live very long, and they're basically gonna get destroyed by a coyote. A jackrabbit. I'd even give.
Jackrabbits get eaten by coyotes all the fucking
They have
time.
tremendous kicking power.
Lock up. Let's go Albany +4.5.
Okay.
Don't hassle the Poff.
The dog is the Coyotes at home at that filthy Dakota Dome.
Copying Sean's picks
yep.
here.
The bonus lock is Albany. No, I'm sorry. Is what's it called?
It's a true Benedict here.
Army is what I was trying to say.
Oh wow!
No, let's go Montana. Let's go Montana. I don't want to copy all of Sean's picks. Montana -7.5.
Copy my
17.5
pick on this one. That's good.
All right. So we got some FCS locks in the Army versus Navy game.
The FCS locks are like those little ones that like my daughter has on her journal. You know, little tiny baby lock.
And make sure you check out the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. They're doing a live stream. It's during the game, Ryan?
Yes. Yeah, they're doing an Army Navy stream. I think I would imagine there'll be some other friends and family of SGPN heading by.
Both yeah, and I know Cody previously served. Rod still is active member.
Mike
of the
Rose,
military.
the host of the FCS College Football Experience. Now he's had a dilemma because he has
Wait, no. Who's this Mike Rose character?
Gulf Coast Guru.
Oh, there you go.
Right. He has Navy over 5.5 season wins, but he is a former, been to Iraq twice. He's an Army vet. So he said, "Fuck my bet. Give me Army."
I was going to say, what's the
Let's
dilemma?
go. Yeah.
Of course, he doesn't care about his bet. Certain things are bigger than money.
Yeah. No, that'd be like me rooting for a Cowboys bet, which I would never happen because I would have to have bet the Cowboys.
Yeah, wait a second. He bet over on the Navy win.
He thought Navy would get bowling this year,
but he's an Army guy.
I know.
Okay. I thought you vet your people a little better than this, Colby.
Little suspect.
That's how'd that slip by HR?
Hey, he's betting on Army this weekend though, so he's basically okay losing his money.
You take so you're usually on the NC State overs.
I was this year.
Oh my goodness! I won't
cashed.
tell.
We cashed too. Over 6.5 wins.
I won't tell anyone.
All right, Kramer and I will be back with the NFL Pick Show. YouTube.com/sportsgambling podcast. Subscribe, smash that subscribe button, turn on the notifications so you know when the show is starting, aka when I get back from my reasonable holiday party trip. For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
See y'all tonight, maybe a little late.
Kramer, let it ride.